Hello, everybody, and happy Friday. The end of the week is here. So, a bunch of new information coming out. So, let me give some shout outs. Unspoken Butterfly, Spunky, Marie, Comptu, Lori, Sandra Stevens. Hello, everybody. So, we're going to give it a few minutes and let everybody get in. I did start a little bit early. I noticed a bunch of yous were in here, so I figured I might as well jump on and get the show on the road so we can go over all this. Toxicology, at least the preliminary results are out right now. We are still waiting on autopsy results, which they have said could take some time still. So we're going to see. We're going to read what's been going on, what's happening, and what we can expect. Hello, Kat. Welcome, everybody. Also, don't forget, any $10 super chat gets you an entry into our draw on February 14th for the Valentine's Day basket. And I've added some more stuff in there. I've added some stuff in there that you can only get in Canada, just for little treats for you guys. So you guys can have a little taste of what we have here. Sandra Stevens, hello. Someone has two. Hello. Okay, so this is what we are going to be talking about. Okay, where is the first one? All right, so the first thing we're going to go over, you're very welcome. Someone has two. Thank you all for being here. So the first thing that came out on the 30th was that apparently this Jordon Willis, this is the guy who hosted the watch party where his three friends were found deceased in his backyard. We already know he already moved out of the house and whatever, just a day or so after the bodies were found in the backyard. And then the very next day after that, doesn't he go or a day or two after that, doesn't he go, whatever, he checks himself into a rehab. A lot of stuff has been coming out between their lawyers. Now, this lawyer, Jordon Willis has this lawyer named John Piscirno that has put out a lot of back and forth and whatnot. But this is coming out from his family, okay, from Jordan's family. So we're just going to go over this quick. Chiefs Watch Party host checks into rehab after three friends found dead following gathering. So the man at the center of a wild speculation about what happened to his three friends found dead outside his home after watching a Kansas City Chiefs game earlier this month has checked himself into rehab. Now, this is what his family is saying. A lot of the big news sources are saying the same thing. I have checked around to see if this is something I confirm. Apparently, due to HIPAA laws, we're not going to get any information on this unless somebody comes out and says, hey, he's crashed on my couch right now. He ain't in rehab. Somebody's going to have to come out and say that he's not really in rehab because, like I said, because of HIPAA laws, they're not going to give us any information, right? So they're saying that he checked himself in. A source close to the family told Fox News that Jordon Willis, 38, was facing his addiction head on. So we've been saying this since the beginning, you guys, that there's no way that they just went out there and froze to death. They were given something, right? And that the deaths of his three friends was an enormous, heartbreaking wake-up call. Really? From what I personally believe, this is my thoughts, disclosure, my thoughts, my opinion. Don't sue me. I believe Jordon gave it to them. If it wasn't Jordon, then it was this other fifth person, Alex. But one of the family members have really been talking about Alex in a really good light, not thinking that he would ever do something like this. But, and I've got to say, I don't agree with some of the people, jumping down on Alex. Like, he made some mistakes in the past. We all did when we were young and dumb type thing. But apparently he still did the D word, right? So did he give them something before he left? Because up until the time that he left around midnight, They were all healthy, alive, and still conversing and watching Jeopardy. So what happened after he left? He also said that the dogs were there. We know the dogs weren't there. Apparently one dog is his father's. The other dog, his father took because it's like some kind of therapy dog or something for him. But anyway, so that's why his dog was over there. But I find it weird that his dog's over there for the next 2 days also. But anyway, a lot of things still we need to know. We're going to have to find out. Now, where was I? There we go. So did Alex give them something and say, hey, I'm out of here. Here's some stuff. Did he give them both? Because we know that there was 3 different substances. We got to watch what we say here on YouTube, found in the preliminary toxicology results. We're going to go over that. Did the guys just smoke the Mary Jane and maybe Jordon do some of the white icing sugar? That's how we're going to say it. Was the Mary Jane what was maybe possibly laced with the F? Like I said, we got to be very careful. So I'm being very careful how I say this. That's what I think, because the fiance came out and said that, look, he didn't do any of that stuff. So maybe, okay, I'm here with my buddies. We'll smoke a little bit of the Mary Jane. You know what I mean? But that's what I believe happened. I think there was a couple of substances there. I don't think Jordon was into the Mary Jane. I think he was into the white icing sugar more than the Mary Jane. He probably asked them to go outside and smoke the Mary Jane because he's renting and he didn't want that smell in his house. And we all know the icing sugar, you can just sniff on that, right? You don't have to light it up and stuff. You don't have to. But Jordon took enough that, he was out of it for 2 days. That could very, very, very well be. Okay. Still, does that make him any less culpable? I don't think so. So the bottom line is we need to find out what was given to them and who gave it, right? Hello, Journey to Justice, Marie Burks. Hello and welcome. So that is a big thing here, is why is Jordon still alive and the other ones aren't? I think because Jordon dabbled in the white icing sugar and the other 3 didn't. I think the other 3 went outside to smoke the Mary Jane. And I think it was the Mary Jane that was laced with the F. And what that stuff does to you, like just it could knock you out. It could make you very drowsy. It could do a lot of things, right? And it is said that they had 3 times the limit needed for you to die of the F. Like 10, the level 10 of that, I don't know if it's milligrams, we'll say milligrams. 10 milligrams will kill you. They had 30 milligrams each of the F in their system. They also had the white powdery stuff in their system. They also had weed in their system. So did they do both also? And then maybe do that with Jordon, the white stuff, and then go outside to smoke the Mary Jane, and the Mary Jane was laced with the F. That's what I think happened. And I think Jordon told him, hey, if you want to smoke that, you guys outside, because I don't want it in the house. I'm a renter. I don't want my landlord smelling it. That's what I think. So that's how I'm going to explain away how Jordon is still alive and his friends are not. So we got this on the 30th that Jordon checked himself into rehab. Is that a way for him to hide so he doesn't have to answer a lot of questions right now? Yes, and drinking on top of that, yes. And, it probably like whacked them right out. And another thing is they were outside in the elements where Jordon was inside. So Jordon, like, I think they ended up, out of it, outside, overdosed on this stuff, out of it cold, you know what I mean? And they froze because their body shut down. Hypothermia set in and your body starts shutting down. That's what I think happened. I don't think they just went out there and sat there and froze to death. I think whatever they were doing, whatever was mixed, where they ended up with 30 grams of fentanyl in their system, I think that just zonked them out, like knocked them right out, and the elements then froze them. Their body would start losing heat, which would cause hypothermia, which would cause your organs and everything to shut down. The drinking on top of that didn't help. So all of these things combined is a death sentence, right? So these are just the preliminary toxicology reports that we've got. We haven't heard from Alex since this has now broke, which I find interesting. That's why I'm almost like wondering, did Alex give them the Mary Jane that was laced with the F? Because I think it was the Mary Jane that was laced with the F. I don't think we know now by this, which on the screen right now, that Jordon apparently had a drug problem. When he's like into stuff like that, he wouldn't probably smoke the Mary Jane. So he probably told them to go outside so it didn't stink up the house. On top of the drinking and the white stuff, if they did any of that, because it was found in their system too. We don't know how much. And then going out and smoking the Mary Jane laced with F is what I think. So let's get back to this here. They were found outside. We already know this. A neighbor told Fox that 2 of the now dead men showed up at Willis's with 2 30 packs of beer. So that's 60 beers. Police are still awaiting the autopsy. The autopsy is going to take a while, and toxicology results to determine their next steps. The toxicology test will take 6 to 8 weeks. We already know we've got the preliminary of them back already. Autopsies could take 12. They're not going to close the autopsy until they get all the toxicology back, I don't believe. Family members of some of the dead men have accused Willis of poisoning them or being involved in some other way, with Harrington's girlfriend claiming the 3 were murdered, with no evidence so far to support the claim. But now we know something was laced with F, right? Police are still saying they had no evidence of foul play in the man's death. The circumstances surrounding the discovery of the bodies, however, has led to accusations of Willis's involvement. I do believe that Willis and even maybe Alex were involved. When the men failed to respond to texts and calls, including Willis, one man's fiance went to the house, and we know this broke in, right? And again, he's doubling down. Willis's attorney, John Persiano, said that his client works from home and slept with noise-canceling headphones for much of the 2 days after the football game. For much of the 2 days, right? So at some point, he got up. Went to the bathroom, went in the kitchen. You couldn't see, like you got a clear view of your backyard, right? He did not go to his snow-covered backyard and did not see the men's vehicles still parked on the street outside. I call BS. The source who told Fox Willis had checked into rehab said he's planned, doesn't mean he's going to fully cooperate. Now, I do believe that they are looking at both Alex and Jordon for criminal charges. They're not going to say it right now, because once they name them as suspects, all conversations are going to stop, right? And they don't want that. So we learned a good lesson in the Barry Morphew case. Don't start arresting somebody or accusing somebody of being their only suspect until you got everything that you need from that person. So I believe that's why police are holding off, is because they don't want Jordon or Alex to shut up totally. Yeah, and he didn't see their wallets and keys and phones and everything else on the table, and one of the men's coats still inside. Like, I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. I think the guys, no. I don't know anybody, and we took this poll. I don't know any guy that goes to a friend's house for a get-together and takes his wallet out. Maybe keys and a phone maybe left on the table, but not taking their wallet out and leaving that on the table. There's no way. Nope, not buying it. Okay, so toxicology reports appear to solve the mystery of 3 frozen dead Chiefs fans. Here's where it gets interesting, you guys. Let's read through this because this one, I've got a bunch of them up top here. This one is very interesting. Well, there is still more testing and investigating to be done. Initial toxicology reports on the 3 Kansas City Chief fans found dead and frozen in a Fred's backyard found this, THC, and this in their systems. Okay? According to Fox 4 News, family members of the 3 men, David Harrington, Clayton Mcgeeney, and Ricky Johnson, confirmed the Kansas City Police Department has been in contact with them about the reports. Okay? The family is going to know exactly. I know there's people out there. I've got one friend of mine on YouTube that is requesting the toxicology. Nobody's been able to get their hands on it yet. But as soon as I do, you guys, I will be letting you know. But preliminary, there have been no additional details of this case revealed to any media, nor are there any plans at this time to do so. This case remains an ongoing death investigation, right? Yeah, there's no need to take out your wallet. Nothing was ever said that they ordered beer in or ordered food or anything, DoorDash, anything like that. So there'd be no reason for any of them to take out their wallets. Zero. Alex Capariello of News Nation reports that the toxicology reports found 3 times the amount of F that is enough to kill the men. A family member who asked to remain anonymous tells me the C, the F, and THC showed up in the preliminary results. 3 times the amount that is needed to take your life. The family source says level 10 fentanyl is enough to kill. The Kansas City 3 were at level 30. I don't think that anyone familiar with this situation or this investigation thought that there wasn't something else in play here. And I think that the toxicology report is going to be the first step on many steps in the investigation as to who is responsible for these men's tragic deaths. Now, up until now, I'm going to say something because I picked it up because of working in the legal justice system for many years, 30 years or more. There's a reason why they are talking to the prosecution, okay? If there's nothing criminal or if they don't suspect anything criminal, the prosecutor's office doesn't get involved. The police have to go to the prosecution and say, look, this is what we think happened. We think that there should be charges. The prosecution looks at what they have and they decide whether there's enough to proceed with criminal charges and an arrest. So why are they gone to the prosecution right from almost day one, right? But there's also been movement in that, okay? Now, I think the families are under a gag order. I think that they have said, look, if you want us to continue keeping you up to date, you can't talk about certain things. So what has changed in this is because the family's been saying that they haven't been being told anything. So now the police have gone to them with these preliminary results. Also, autopsies and full toxicology reports will be released soon and will hopefully shed more light on the Chief fans' mysterious death. Jordon Willis, the owner of the home where the Chiefs fans were found dead and frozen in the backyard, was in the house for 2 days and failed to respond to numerous attempts by the victim's family to contact him during that time. Has since moved out of the house and reportedly checked into rehab for addiction. Right? None of us know what happened to these individuals. And I think the most important thing to remember here, these are his 3 buddies, Willis's attorney has said. Now, in one of these other reports, let me find it. Okay. Thursday, police said they had received the toxicology report. See, they're saying that they received the toxicology report. Some are saying that it's the full report, but they're only releasing certain parts right now. And others are saying that it was just a preliminary. So we're going to have to wait and see, you guys. Also, the autopsy has not been released yet. The autopsy isn't going to be released until all their other information comes back, including the toxicology. But refuse to release any further details. See? So I do believe that they have the full report, but they're only releasing what we know. There have been no additional details of this case revealed to any media, nor are there any plans to do so at this time. This case remains an ongoing death investigation, said a police spokesman. Both detectives and the Pulaski County prosecutor, both detectives, and if it's not an investigation, why are there detectives involved? And the prosecution's office have been in touch with the deceased men's families and remain in contact with them as the investigation unfolds. This tells us everything we need to know right here. Charges are coming. They are coming. I am saying it. I am standing by it. Here we are, February 2nd, 1:46 p.m. in the afternoon. Charges are coming. Believe me. There's no reason that detectives and the prosecutor's office would be involved unless there was something criminal where charges and arrests can be made. TMZ reported that the sources told them the C and F were detected in the bodies of the deceased. They added that a complete toxicology report might show indications of other drugs as well. We've been told also marijuana, right? A cousin of one of the victims said in an interview that he believed the owner of the home has provided drugs to the group and accidentally killed the three. He also claimed that the men had been allegedly providing drugs before the incident. This is something else that we learned recently, right? That one of the family members of one of the deceased said, like they hung around all through high school, and Jordon was the go-to guy if you wanted any kind of drugs. That he would mix up stuff, mix things together to make you feel better for whatever you needed it for. He's been doing this since high school, long before he was a scientist. But being now that he's a scientist, he should have known better. He should have known that these drugs could kill you. Right? To the point that he was referred to as the chemist by his friends in school. Okay? And he was allegedly providing drugs before the incident, to the point he was referred to as the chemist by his friends. It was easy for them to go have fun, but he effed up. He made a mistake, said Caleb Mcgeeney. Okay, so that's Clayton Mcgeeney's family member. Jordon is somebody that is known from high school as like creating drugs for people who make them feel better in certain situations. Okay, well, you want to do this? I'm going to make this for you. I'm going to make this for you, and handing them out, he claimed. As an attorney for the homeowner, Jordon Willis did not respond to requests from the New York Post for a response to these allegations. Hello, K. Mitch, and welcome. I don't think any of them, Roseanne, had the money for that. From what we've heard from all the family members, they were family men. They had kids. They had families. And the family members have said they wouldn't have had money for the C. And I believe that that was Jordon's drug of choice, was the C. I think that somebody, either Jordon or Alex, gave them the Mary Jane, and the Mary Jane was laced with the F. That's what I believe. And I think Jordon said, hey, you guys, if you want to do that stuff, you got to go outside because I don't want it stinking up my house. The C, which we call white powdered sugar, that can be sniffed. It doesn't leave a smell in your house if you sniff it. And I believe because he was such an addict that is what Jordon was addicted to. We have heard from family members that these three guys weren't drug addicts. So would they dabble maybe in Mary Jane? Yeah. So was there some C and F put in that Mary Jane that he was given, that they were given? And then it knocked them out outside when they went out there to smoke it, just totally took them over. And their body temperature started falling into hypothermia. And then they just froze because they couldn't move. Like this, some of that will paralyze you. The amount of the F drug that was found in their system was 3 times the amount needed to kill somebody with it. So what does this one say? See? Meantime, Harrington and Mcgeeney and Johnson's families, all 3 families have met with the prosecution. You don't meet with the prosecution unless there's charges and an arrest coming. And I find this next part here very telling. An attorney for the Johnson family said they now feel as though this is being taken seriously, not only by the police, but also by prosecutors, which means something has changed. So, like I said, I worked in the legal field over 30 years in criminal law. When you go to talk to a prosecutor, it's because charges are pending. They've got a suspect. They ain't going to say that because then they would leave all contact done with Alex and Jordon. They want them to still keep talking. You only go to the prosecutor when there's been a crime. The prosecution up till this point has probably said we don't have enough. I think now they're putting it together, and I think very, 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 very soon we are going to see some charges and arrests. Is it going to be Jordon, or is it going to be both Jordon and Alex, or is it going to be Alex? It's going to be one of each of them or the both, right? I want to see what action is being taken, and that's the most important. What action is being taken, said Caleb Mcgeeney, the cousin of Clayton. Okay, so can you guys let me know if you guys can hear this? Because this is one of the first news reports that came out. So let me know if you can hear this when I play it. If not, I will have to re-show it and put the sound on. Put a 1 in the chat if you can see. If you can hear it, put 1 in the chat, please. Exactly. And I think Jordon was more addicted to the white stuff than anything else. So in order, they either took maybe a little sniff of the white stuff and then decided, no, we're just going to stick to the Mary Jane, but the Mary Jane was laced with the fentanyl. And I do believe Jordon said, well, if you're going to smoke the Mary Jane, go outside because that stuff stinks everything up. You can't hear it? Okay, hang on a sec. Okay, let me rewind it and then tell me if you can hear it now.
Follow breaking news here at 5 as we learn more about the deaths of 3 men found in.
Hey, can you guys hear it now? Okay, so you can hear it now.
The backyard
Okay.
of a Northland home. I'm John Holt.
And I'm Christelle Bell. The toxicology report is in police hands tonight. Fox 4's Malik Jackson joins us now live from KCPD headquarters. Malik, what are you learning about that report that's out?
John and Christelle, we have confirmed with multiple sources that the families of Clayton Mcgeeney, Ricky Johnson, and David Harrington were notified earlier this afternoon by detectives that the toxicology report is complete. Now, it is.
Okay, so did you hear that? And I do have to stop this for fair use, or I will get a strike from Fox 4. They said yesterday afternoon, all 3 families of the 3 deceased had gotten a copy of the completed toxicology. Let me back that up.
McGeeney, Ricky Johnson, and David Harrington were notified earlier this afternoon by detectives that the toxicology report is complete. Now, it is important to note that these reports are very detailed, so what has been given to these families is preliminary. But what we do...
Okay, so right there, a lot of people are saying, no, these are just preliminary results. No, we've been given preliminary information on it. Hang on a sec. We've only been given so much. We've been given what the family's been given. That doesn't mean that the toxicology is not complete. Right here it said it is complete, but there's so much information there. They've got to go through each and everything, right? Well, if that was the case, then Jordon would be dead too. Because 10 milligrams, we're going to say milligrams, 10 milligrams will kill you of the F. The 3 men had 30 milligrams each in their systems. There's no way you can survive that. 0. So if it was in the white stuff, then Jordon would be dead too, but he wouldn't have froze because he was inside. The only difference is the guys are outside. That's why their body temperature dropped and they froze because they couldn't get up and walk and everything else because they were overdosed on this stuff. And if it was the white stuff that was laced, then Jordon would have been dead too. He just wouldn't have been frozen because he was inside. Oh, yeah, exactly. Everything's being laced. Okay, so let me back that up.
Now, it is important to note that these reports are very detailed. So what has...
See, this report is very detailed. So that's why we've only got preliminary results. It doesn't mean that these tests are only preliminary. We've only got preliminary results because they are so detailed. They need to go through them, and it'll be released probably with the autopsy.
It's been given to these families.
Ufta says, not if Jordon has a higher tolerance. I'm telling you right now, with the F stuff, you cannot build an intolerance enough to be able to take 30 milligrams of it because 10 milligrams will kill you. So maybe like 2 milligrams, could probably really harm them. But 10, they've said it. 10 will kill you. Level 10 will kill you. They were at level 30. 3 times the amount needed to kill somebody. So there's no way that Jordon had a higher tolerance to the F. I don't believe the F was in the white stuff. I believe the F was in the Mary Jane. It doesn't matter. This is what you're not understanding. I don't care if you're a heroin and you take all kinds of drugs for the last 10 years. No one can withstand and live, take 30 of this and live. They said that is 3 times the amount needed to kill somebody. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue. I believe the weed was laced. Those 3 went outside for a reason. And those are the 3 that are dead. I believe the 3 of them went outside to smoke the marijuana because Jordon didn't want them stinking up the house. I don't think Jordon smoked the Mary Jane. He is now a self-proclaimed addict. And C was involved. So rolling your eyes, Ufda, roll them somewhere else. I said it was in my opinion. If you don't like it, don't listen.
is preliminary. But what we do know is that there were several substances found to be in these men's bodies, including the presence of cocaine. Now, let's take a step back here because we were given the timeline about 6 to 8 weeks as to when we would get these results back. We haven't even passed the 4th week mark just yet. Moving forward, this will allow KCPD to finish their investigation and pass this case off to prosecutors. It's crucial that we
Did you hear that? And pass this case off to prosecutors.
know that this comes one day after these families, in fact, met with the prosecuting attorney there in Platte County. After that meeting concluded, these families said that they were satisfied. And one day later, here we are with these reports. We reached out to KCPD. They had little to say about this development, but they did confirm that they have been in contact with these men's families. Now, there is.
Okay, so there you go. That's all I'm going to play of that, you guys. I don't want to get a strike for that, so we're not going to play any more of it. But yes, what I do believe is, and Compton says they've already found lace weed at the dispensaries in PA. Kids are gone. Yeah, exactly. So they are saying that Kansas City police have not concluded their portion of the investigation. So I'm going to put it out to you guys. I do believe within the next couple of days there's going to be an arrest. Now, is it going to be? I think Jordan's going down regardless, but is Alex going to be down with him too? Because when Alex said when he left, they were all alive, right? And watching Jeopardy. So what changed between midnight and when they passed away? Did Alex leave them something when he left? Because I think that if this stuff was there prior, the laced, whatever it was that was laced, I believe it was the Mary Jane, you would think that they would have had some of that earlier on in the evening and afternoon watching the game, right? Like during, what is it, intermissions or whatever, go on outside and smoke some Mary Jane. And I mean, I don't condemn anybody for smoking Mary Jane. I don't personally, never have. But it's legal here in Canada, and I know a lot of states have legalized it. It's not the worst drug you could do. So if that's all somebody's doing, I ain't going to complain. But when you start getting into the harsher stuff, like the white powder and needles and all kinds of stuff like that, no. You're taking your life in your hands, right? I do believe they can, K-Mitch. I don't know the laws on that in the U.S. I'm in Canada. I know in Canada, if they're going to arrest you for this, they're going into the rehab center and getting you. They may need to get a warrant to go in there, but they will go and get them. So do they do that in the U.S.? I don't know. Is that like a safe zone? I'm in rehab. You can't touch me. I don't know. Like there's 3 people dead here. So I don't know. I don't know what the law on that would be. They just put a penalty for that drug. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, in my opinion, and my opinion only, I believe, give it a couple days, there's going to be an arrest. They're going to be going over this. They are going to be hunting down Alex. They are going to be hunting down Jordan. Right? But I'm on the fence about who did it. Did Jordan do it? Did Alex do it? If Alex gave them, say Alex gave them the Mary Jane, here, have some of this, I'm leaving. Did he know that that was in there? You know what I mean? Does he know that it was laced? because obviously something was laced. Like, what did each of them have? The only one that can tell us that, we know they had some, at least a little bit of the C. We don't know how much C was in their system. Did they just have a little sniff and go, oh, hell no, that's not for us. We'll go smoke the Mary Jane instead. You know what I mean? Because all three were found in their system. Weed, the C, and the F. Somebody's got some splaining to do. But I don't think, and I think the only reason that Jordon is still alive is because I think he stayed to the white stuff, and the guys maybe took a little bit of the white stuff and then said, no, that's not for us. We're going to go out and smoke this Mary Jane. And Jordon said outside with that, like I said, he rented that house. I'm sure he didn't want the smell of that in his house, right? Outside you go with that. But that doesn't tell us why Jordon didn't realize his friends weren't coming back in. Right? So I'm up in the air right now. I'm up in the air. It seems to me, this is on Jordon. You think about the past history, that he concocted stuff and mixed stuff up for his friends and this and that. So I do believe that this is, I do believe Jordon's going to be arrested. He moved out, he put his stuff in storage, and now he's in rehab. Well, you put your stuff in storage because you know you ain't coming out, right? Or you put your stuff in storage when you don't want to go and rent another place and pay all that money when you could be being arrested. Is he even in rehab? We don't know. So this is them. This is Alex Lee right here. This is Alex Lee. I don't know who this guy is. They should have probably blurred out his face. But this is Ricky, this is David, and this is Clayton, and this is Alex. And we all know what Jordon looks like. So did this guy right here, did he leave them something? Or did Jordon wait for Alex to leave to bring out stuff? We don't know. And there's only two of the people that were there are alive. Alex being one of them, this guy here, and Jordon. But Alex can't tell us what happened after he left. Only Jordon can tell us that. And so far, we can't believe a word Jordon or his lawyer says. Yeah, I don't know if the police can go in and grab him in rehab. I don't see why they can't, because they do it here in Canada. Now, I don't know what the laws are in the States. If they're in rehab, can the police go in there? And I think if they're going to be charged with murder, yeah, that takes precedent over anything else, but they may have to get some kind of warrant to go in and get them. Not only just the arrest warrant, but because of HIPAA, right? I don't know how that would work in the US. I don't know. It would be something to look into. But what I'm saying is Jordon moves out of the house, gets all his stuff, all his prized possessions, and gets them into storage, right? I'm sure he drained his bank accounts and everything too and gave it to his dad to hang on to just in case, right? because the families could have a civil suit. If nothing else, they have a civil suit against Jordon. He's probably already hid all his money, got all his stuff into storage. It's probably in the hands of his dad or another trusting family member. And in case he does get out, then he has his money. In case he needs a lawyer, they got his money. You know what I mean? He wants to liquidate that money really quick because he knows that there's probably a civil case coming regardless of any criminal case, right? So, what do you guys think? Let me know. So I'm going to end it here, you guys. I think they arrested OF model Clenny when she was in rehab. I don't know if he'd go that far to give a conservatorship. I think he just liquidated his money and said, Dad, here, hold this for me. Or one of his family members, hold this money for me. I don't think he wants to leave a paper trail of who has it. He doesn't own property from what we know because he was renting the house and he's got all his stuff that he does own in storage. So there's a reason why he's done all that. I think he was anticipating getting arrested and he didn't want his family members having to clean out his house, right? That this is my train of thinking. And this is what we would tell a client if we know that they're going to be arrested and spending some time in jail. Get your affairs in order because this is coming. That's what a lawyer would tell you if they are worried about charges being laid against you. So for him to do the things that he's done, I'm thinking back to my time working for the criminal lawyers. That's what we tell our clients. Get your affairs in order because this is coming down the line. Put the money in coffee cans and buried it. I doubt that. But so that's what I got for you guys. As soon as I find out anything more, just keep an eye out because I've got a few things that I've got to get done here. So I can't be watching this constantly. But I do have people that message me and say, hey, new news out. If I'm already upstairs in bed, I'm not coming all the way back downstairs unless it's something big. It's just my back can't handle it right now. So mark my words, an arrest is coming. It could be one, it could be both. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to end it like I always do. Thank you, mods, for being here. I appreciate you. Please take care of yourselves. Please stay safe. Always be aware of your surrounding. I love you guys to the moon and back. Bye-bye for now.